United States of America. Stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, and justice for all. All right. All right, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the August 15th, 2023 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right, I'll second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote.
DeGrand,
Aye.
Calvin,
Aye.
Upshaw,
Aye.
Mauer. Aye.
All right. The next item on the agenda this evening is a public hearing for the consideration and vote to recommend approval of a conditional use permit for campgrounds as defined in the land development ordinance at 716 South Goals. Paola MHP1 LLC is the applicant. I'll take a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion, open public hearing for case number 23-CUP-04, 716 South Gold.
All right,
I'll second.
got a motion and a second.
DeGrand,
Aye.
Calvin,
Aye.
Mauer. Aye. Upshaw.
Aye.
All right, public hearing is now open.
Okay. So a little background for 23 CUP 04 for the conditional use permit to utilize campgrounds as defined in the Paola Land Development Ordinance at 716 South Gold, Paola Mobile Home Park. The lot is located in the suburban zoning district. And according to the LDO, campgrounds are defined as the following: a form of commercial lodging where guests bring tents, travel trailers, campers, or other similar forms of shelter, and the campground rents pads to guests. Over time, the mobile home park previous owners have tried to utilize RVs on the premise for housing options for residents. They were notified by staff that in order for that to legally conform, the owner would need to apply for the CUP and be granted through the Planning Commission and the City Council. The current owner has chosen to apply for a CUP after recent notifications of zoning violations. The owner is choosing to apply for a CUP for two specific lots, lots 3 and 7, for the use of RVs. He has stated that this primarily is due to the size of the lots in relation to the size of modern day trailer homes or mobile homes, and that lots 3 and 7 are smaller than other lots in the park and would accommodate an RV. As stated, Table 3-110A of the LDO, the general use table, states that campgrounds is an allowed use in the suburban zoning district under a conditional use permit. The use of campgrounds can be dictated by the owner for a long-term rental, which he has stated he would like to do. They wouldn't be a short-term rental, and since they would be on those two specific lots, they wouldn't be required to move as what most of us think of as a campground. A lot of regulations require them to move every so many days. This would just be allowed for the use of an RV within the mobile home park. The Planning Commission must ensure that the following standards shall be met as in part of section 21-220. We're free to go over those if you'd like. The proposed use shall be consistent with the comprehensive plan purposes, goals, objectives, and policies, including standards for building and structural intensities and densities and intensities of use, all be compatible with the character of the land in the immediate vicinity. Proposed uses design shall minimize adverse effects, including visual impact of the proposed use on adjacent lands. And the proposed use shall minimize adverse impacts on the environment, traffic and congestion, infrastructure, and governmental services. So presented that, so if you want to move forward with the public hearing, any questions,
Okay.
there are two representatives here.
Okay. Would you gentlemen like to say anything? Either one of you?
No, the only thing I really heard was when you said something about visuals.
Mhm.
We put up, privacy fences and we're not done with that yet. We still have more to do that will hide 90% of the park. I mean,
Would you step to the podium and state your name and address? I could have had you do that first, so for the record, sorry about that.
Chris Rankin, I'm the manager of the park.
Okay.
But
You live at,
I live at 716 Gold Lot 10.
there we go. Okay, now go ahead, I'm sorry.
But we are putting up privacy fences, the new vinyl ones, to hide a lot of the stuff. We know people don't like trailer parks, we're trying to hide it, you know, we're trying to make it to where it looks decent from the outside looking in. That's one thing I heard. We will put skirting kits around these campers. One of them is actually called a park model. It's leans more towards a mobile home than it does a camper. I think it's considered as a camper, but that basically, like I said, they'll have skirting kits around them, anchored down everything.
Now, who owns these?
The campers.
Yeah,
Right now, one of them is owned by the park. It needs a little bit of remodeling done to it, so we haven't went forward with that until we find out whether we can keep it there.
right.
And the other one is privately owned.
Okay.
And I think they signed a lease for 6 months, and they've been there for, I think, a year already.
Okay.
So,
What about the remaining units on the lot? Who owns those? Are those all privately owned?
privately owned, yes. Everybody owns their own houses. We have a handful of people in there that we're trying to get to do work to the houses, but money issues and other things come up. We are in the middle of evicting one person because they won't keep their place clean. It's been an ongoing battle. We've given many chances, but we're back, so we're gonna move them on down the road. Anybody have any questions for me?
The only nope, mine have already been answered.
Okay. Good, thank you. Anybody else from the public want to speak? Okay, hearing that, I would take a motion to close the public hearing. I'm sorry, first let me say, did we get any letters?
We didn't get any letters. We had one neighbor call, that shared a similar complaint as Chris mentioned, that the look of the neighborhood, just, she's a neighbor and would prefer it to be brought up to more of her standard, whatever that.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, now I will take a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing. I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Put it to a vote.
Grant,
Aye.
Calvin,
Aye.
Mallon. Aye. Upshaw.
Aye.
All right, okay. So the only issue I have with it, or the main issue, is that under our definition of a campground, the campground rents pads to guests and doesn't actually own anything, doesn't actually own an RV in the park. So in this case where you've got one rented and one owned, it would put that one owned outside the definition of a campground, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. And I agree, you've done a good job of trying to screen that down there, putting up that vinyl fence. That did help the looks of it a lot.
We've done a lot of work to the place, more than that yet, so.
I guess that would be part of my concern too, is the fact that this would be a long-term rental, especially given the fact that it is an RV, even the RVs designed for, I've seen it for like lake lots and things like that. They're built differently. They're not built like normal units. And as you mentioned, you've got some units down there that need some work, and I would be concerned that allowing this could possibly further deteriorate the property. I know you've done a good job with the fencing and everything, but I'm still concerned about the property continuing to deteriorate, especially with the allowable long-term campers for permanent dwelling there. That would be my concern. there been a need to reach out to Chief Martin about any of this? I mean, it's already, if they were to get called in there for anything, I mean, it's gonna become congested anyways. I mean, granted, it's still gonna take up the same rough square footage of footprint than a travel trailer would, but you're getting into totally different designs of a camper versus a single wide. So I didn't know if anything's been,
That's a good question. It's a unique situation, but it's
Right.
an existing mobile home park. So they are legally operating, the mobile homes that are there are legally operating as the park has existed. So kind of have to be careful in calling in like a fire department check, just like if any other, we have to treat them like residential houses across town. So when we have, code violation concerns, we have to follow what the code is. Sometimes if it's not appeasing to our eye, where the line is with a safety issue. So
Okay.
at this time, we haven't
Okay.
consulted with them.
I just didn't know,
Yeah.
that should be discussed.
No, good question.
And then, or, I guess I haven't read the actual motion.
It's just a possible, planning commission will approve a recommendation or they will, not approve a recommendation. And then it goes to council for final vote. So regardless if you approve a recommendation or you do not approve a recommendation, city council would then have the chance to agree or disagree with whatever.
Okay. And I can take my final answer, or my final question is, should we add something in the motion to get more definite on the determination or the definition of campgrounds, where it says tents, travel trailers, campers, other similar forms of shelter? Should we limit that to travel trailers or campers? No offense to the applicants.
No,
but
yeah, no,
The
no.
loophole works.
Yes, very,
If
very,
somebody
very
would
good.
just slide a tent in and be like, well, you guys approved this,
Yeah.
so.
So yes, you can put the condition, if you chose to approve it or you chose to not approve it, you could put the recommendation, a condition would be specifically for a recreational vehicle.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that sufficient?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I just didn't want,
Yeah, we would never let nobody stay in it.
Right.
Yeah.
there's just some people that would.
Yeah, I know.
It's not talked about.
The other one. Health, safety, welfare questions, if you have any of those. Any clarifications on anything? Anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, if you want to make a motion.
Okay. I move to recommend the approval of the conditional use permit for the campgrounds at 716 South Gold, Paola, MHP 1 LLC applicant, with the condition of recreational vehicle to be added as the only acceptable dwelling
On lots 3 and 7. On lots 3.
on lots 3 and 7. Yep.
Thank you.
Have a second?
Second motion.
Have a second over here. Any further discussion? All right. When not hearing any, we'll put it to a vote.
Green,
Aye.
Calvin,
Nay.
Mauer. Aye. Upshaw.
Nay.
It'll be passed on to, council as a denial.
Okay. All right. All right. It'll go to city council now.
I'll, you can call Ken tonight, but I can send him an email in the morning as well, follow up.
All right,
All right, thank you.
all right, thank you.
His final answer will be at council next month, though.
Okay, all right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, next item, report from community economic development Development Director report.
Mouthful. Scooters is open. We were chatting about that beforehand. And, currently the VA, everybody saw on the newspaper, they had their groundbreaking. They're still working through, they've had some required changes come up with some setbacks for the building. So they're gonna work through those before we can move through final permitting. Roush Pullman today, they picked up 3 new home permits. Yeah, so, 2 lots they're waiting on. There's some easement, issues that they gotta work through, so. Other than that, they're basically about finished building all that out.
Good.
Yeah.
Then what are they gonna do?
And hopefully find some more ground in town. Yeah.
All right, anything for staff?
Nope.
I just had one question, the last house that they're building there in, Baroque, up on, Limestone Ridge.
Okay.
Is that 1,600 including the garage?
I can double check.
Okay. It's already there, but it just looks like it's, the whole thing is including the garage. It's very, very, very small.
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be without the garage, the 1,600, so I just rode my bike up there and I was like, oh, I'm just turning around. I didn't see this.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And then the house that is, next to Matt's old house, they have not ever put in any grass or trees over there. And so I don't know if they have a full CO on the house or if it's just a TCO.
Okay.
But, they just mow the weeds and
Okay.
haven't put any trees or anything like that out
Sure.
there. It just erodes.
Yeah. I can follow up with that.
Okay. Nothing else? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to move to adjourn.
Second that,
I got a motion and a second, all in favor?
say aye.
Aye. There we go, we're done. Thank you.
Thank you.